day honestly was around 300,000 I had lost in a day. So yeah, like it sucks. And I definitely need to learn from this mistake, but I've got to get back up again because I know that there's the potential to make more.
In 2017, Teri Ijeoma decided to quit her job to pursue her passion in finance and to become her own boss. She now teaches others how they too can achieve financial freedom.
I'll be broke. I will live under the bridge as long as I don't have to have a boss. Please.
Yeah.
I can't get time back in my life. And I think that's the part that's really crucial. Now I'm starting to feel like, okay, what's the trade-off? I think life might be more important. And maybe this is the question, is life more important than money?
Hi, it's Erica Kohlberg, and before we dive into today's podcast episode, I have an exciting announcement that can help you save an extra $1,000 without having to penny pinch or change your lifestyle. On Monday, I'm running my free 5-day savings challenge, where you'll discover simple and creative ways that you can save extra money every month. And whatever you want to do with that extra money is up to you. I'll just show you how to save it. The challenge is totally free to join. All you need to do is go to erica.com/go. Erica is with a K, and you can secure your spot. By the way, these strategies that you're going to discover can help you easily save money, whether you're a budgeting novice or a finance expert. And they're going to get better and better throughout the week. But I have to tell you, I'm so excited about this and don't want you to miss out. In November of last year, we ran a savings challenge and had over 200,000 people sign up. And on average, people saved $1,005 that month through what they learned in the challenge. That means our challengers collectively saved over $200 million. So trust me when I say you don't want to miss out on this one. And the deadline to sign up to be part of this free challenge is Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you secure your spot and get free access today. Again, that's erica.com/go, ERIKA.com/go. See you inside. I'm Erica Kohlberg, and you're listening to the Erica Taught Me podcast. So you started off as an elementary school assistant principal. And then at what point did you realize that you wanted to do something different with your life?
Now, the crazy thing is most people know that I was an assistant principal, but before that, I was in consulting, then I was in education for 10 years, and then I was in ministry. I was actually a youth pastor for a while, and I went to seminary. Yeah, I know. I was supposed to be like working in a church. Like that's what I thought I'd be doing for my life. I would be like a young adult pastor. I'd be married to some cute pastor. And like, that's what we'd be doing for life. I never in a million years thought that I'd be trading stocks for a living. So when you say, when did I know I wanted to do something different? I would say I've always been entrepreneurial. So when I was in elementary school, I had a candy business. When I was teaching in education, I also did real estate on the side. I'd help teachers relocate to Texas. And
What?
I did that for a long time. Yes. Even when I went into full-time ministry, every summer I would come back and help teachers relocate. That's the money that I used initially to start trading. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And then finally it was a thing of like, okay, I'm getting pretty good at this trading and I'm still in education and I'm hating it. And like my friend had passed away and they wouldn't let me have vacation to go to his funeral. And I was just like, it was toxic and I was feeling overwhelmed and I was eating too much and stressed. So I was like, I gotta quit. And that's when I decided, okay, well, let me actually try making this trading side hustle thing that I have into enough to afford to leave so I could just get out of this situation. So that's, I think just the toxicity and the cramped and stress of everything is what made me want to really leave and go full time into trading. And really it wasn't even go full time into trading. It was like, I just want to be out of here. I need to travel. I just want to be in the world. And then I'll afford it by this side hustle thing I had done. Like, I know I can make $300 a day trading. So I'll just travel. I won't be as stressed and I'll make a little money on the side.
Is that how much you were making when you quit? About $300 a day from trading?
Yeah, that was my big goal. My last year as assistant principal, I said, if I could just make $300 a day, then I could replace my assistant principal income. Because I only made like $60,000 a year. And I had taken a big pay cut because my job before was in ministry, but it was like an executive at a nonprofit. And so I was making $80,000 and I thought I was killing it. Like that, oh my, nobody in my family had made $80,000. Are you serious? So definitely thought I was killing it. But then, okay, you guys asked me to come and I'll help you build a school. It's in my city. It's in Dallas. Let me do this. I felt kind of called to do that. Took a pay cut. I was making $60,000. So if I could just make $300 a day, that was enough to replace the income.
And you went to MIT, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were you studying at MIT?
Management.
Oh.
I thought I was gonna be like the VP of a marketing firm. Yeah.
But
I didn't need to
now
be
you're the CEO and VP of your whole
whole
company.
life. Yep. That was my goal. I was gonna work up the ladder. I knew when I first came out of MIT, I worked for a consulting company and it was called Monitor Group. They got acquired by a couple other people. I think it got acquired by Deloitte, and then I don't know if Deloitte still has them or not. But I was helping businesses. And that was really great. So I thought maybe I'll work up the ladder in there. And then decide, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to be more hands-on. So then I worked for Teach for America's admin department. And that's when I got into like loving education. Because I was like, oh, we're helping kids have equality. And so that was like my life for 3 years. And then I said, I think I want to go back to school, but I already did business. So now let's go into seminary. I want to learn about the Bible and know my faith better. So I went to seminary. It took me 7 years to graduate seminary.
Wow.
Yeah, 7.
It's that intense?
Girl, we had to learn every single book of the Bible. We'd like read each book. We'd have a class about it. We'd do papers. It was intense.
So then you graduated from seminary.
Well, and 2 years into seminary, I got a job in full-time ministry. So I was doing seminary and ministry. It was back in Chicago. So in Chicago, I was working for a company. They were called By the Hand Club. And they were helping kids in under-resourced neighborhoods to have a better life, but also they were the after-school program. So after school, kids would come to all the facilities, and then we would like help them with homework, and then also help them to we would do Bible studies with them. It was just a lot of fun. But they didn't have enough money to hire all staff. So I came in to help them get volunteers to help volunteer for the program. So I was over all the volunteers.
Okay, so you quit your principal job. And at that time, if you were to say, these are my 5 goals that I want to accomplish, one we know is make $300 a day trading. What were some of the other goals that you were looking for?
When I quit my job as assistant principal, the biggest things were, please let me just not have a boss. That was goal 1. Like, I just didn't want to have a boss because all the bosses that I had until then were like crazy. Like, I feel like I'm a crazy boss now, but I learned it from all the bosses that I have had.
I kind of feel the same for myself.
Like the microwave is dirty. All of a sudden, that was my fault. Even though we have tons of teachers in the building and I haven't even been using the microwave, they would come, Teri, the microwave is dirty. It's you.
What?
Yes. There was one project I had. We were hanging up these things in the hallway. I had one poster that had a different color thumbtack than the others. And it was just because the janitor had ran out of thumbtacks. I literally got a write-up because I had one thumbtack that was a different color than the others.
That's crazy.
Yes. So it was crazy toxic. So my biggest goal was I just don't want to have a boss. I'll be broke. I will live under the bridge as long as I don't have to have a boss. Please.
Yeah.
That was goal 1. I told you about the $300 a day. Like, I didn't need a lot to live. At this time, I wasn't trying to be in fancy hotels or fly first class. I just wanted to be able to experience things when I got to the location. So I joined a program where we were traveling for like a month at a time in different countries. So I was in South Korea for a month, then Thailand for a month, and Vietnam for a month. But during that time, I just wanted to be able to explore the place. So in Seoul, I wanted to be able to eat the food. I wanted to try on the outfits. There was like this really cool mountain I wanted to hike. So I just needed enough for that. I didn't need a ton, just enough. So that's why like the $300 a day, that was more than enough at the time for me to just live my best life. And then I wanted to relax, meet new people, have cool experiences. Those were the biggest goals.
And do you feel like you've achieved all of that?
I do.
Yeah.
I will say I haven't had a boss for 5 years. I've really gotten to explore the world and eat good food. I've met some cool people. So yeah, I think
And
I
you've made
did
way
it.
more than $300 a day.
I have.
And what
Yeah.
was the worst day?
Worst day honestly was around 300,000 I had lost in a day. But I actually was okay with it because in order to make $1 million day, I usually try to go for a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio. So that means if I risk 300,000, I had the ability in that trade to make 900,000. So it's kind of calculated, but it still hurt. It hurt. Like, oh, can you imagine? Like, I used to make $30,000 in ministry, and I was excited. 60,000 as an assistant principal, and you're gonna tell me that you lost 300,000 in a day?
Do the losses hurt more than the wins feel happy?
Yeah, they do. I think the thing is, I'm an overachiever. So no matter how good I am, that one time I mess up, I'm gonna think about that the rest of the day, / month / year / I'm still gonna be thinking about it next year.
Yeah, 300,000. I would think about it for the rest of my life.
But you know what? On that one, it wasn't too bad because, like I said, if you're planning your trades ahead of time, you kind of know that it's coming. It hurts, but then you know, okay, the next time I have a chance to still make 900,000. So yeah, like it sucks, and I definitely need to learn from this mistake. But I've got to get back up again because I know that there's the potential to make more.
Wow.
So
Going from
35,000.
making, what, 60,000 as an assistant principal?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And
Crazy.
so 2018 is when you left your job, or 2017?
2017. 2017, I left. October is when I started traveling around the world. Came back to finish seminary the next year. And October of that next year, opened up the course online.
That's inspiring. So your first $1 million year, then what
Yeah.
happens?
Then it's astronomical growth. 2020 comes along, and people are stuck at home, also really wanting to learn how to invest. The market is going crazy, and my class is like the only class that actually has a real teacher teaching trading. It blows up. I do over 20 million that year.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Do you feel like money changes you, and in what ways?
It does change you, but it really depends what your character was in the beginning, because I think it amplifies your original character. So for me, the things where I've needed it to change me is I needed to be able to allow myself to be pampered. For a long time, I'm such a big saver. I didn't even touch the money. I felt like it wasn't mine. Like the money's over there, and I'm still living on this $50,000. And even in my business now, I often don't pay myself until the end of the year. So I'm not living like, cars and Rolexes and doing all this stuff. I'm living frugally like I was still a teacher, because I've saved and put the money away or gave some to my family. And so I don't feel like I even have it. But I think it's a character thing, because there's other people that as soon as they get it, they balling and rolling in the dough and make it rain. But that's just not who I am.
But it is kind of a crazy spike to go from 2017 making $60,000 a year as an assistant principal to 2020 having a year where you made $20 million. It's kind of like winning the lottery.
It
like,
definitely
when you
is.
think about that contrast.
It is. A couple of things that I did with the money. So I like houses. I splurged a bit in 2020 on a really nice house in Puerto Rico.
I wish I were your friend then, though. I would have come crash in your
You
suite.
should. People were coming all the time. Like, I had visitors all the time. One thing I think it did do for us, though, is it opened our mind. Coming from, I was raised in a single parent household. We had to get everything on clearance. Like, even the food we ate in the grocery store, if it wasn't in the coupon section, we didn't eat it. So coming from a household like that, the biggest thing I could imagine was $100,000. Like, having an income of $100,000, you made it. So now seeing this in Puerto Rico, I was in this house that was on the ocean, and like it was huge, bigger than I'd ever seen before. I think it just opened my mind to what's possible. And that was a step I needed to have. It was stupid to be paying that much a month. And the cool thing is, one person thought it wasn't my house because it was listed for like $30,000 a day. I'm like, but I actually got that. When I would travel, people could rent the house, and like there was some people who wanted to rent it and were paying me like crazy money.
Oh my gosh,
girl, it was cool.
Wait, sorry. What kind of house costs $150,000 a month? How much does that house cost if you were to just buy it?
$40 million.
Oh my goodness,
crazy.
Okay, so then you learned from that.
I learned from that mistake.
What? Let's move out of the house.
Well, it actually wasn't really a mistake. It was a really good time in my life, and I'm really thankful for it. And I know some people are going to feel like, oh, she spent too much. But when you think about like where my income was, I had spoke for Habitat for Humanity, and they were talking about the breakdown of like how much people spend for their housing. And I think they said people spend like 30 to 40% on their housing. It was nowhere near 30% of my income. It was like a lot less.
I guess if you're making $20 million, like relative to your income,
right? It wasn't too bad.
That much.
It wasn't
as
too
crazy
bad.
as it sounds to say.
Right. It's crazy, but it wasn't bad in perspective.
Do you have a budget? Do you think about like, I'm spending too much in this category this month, or do you not budget anymore?
I don't have like a written down budget anymore. But I think it actually would be good to have. I really need to, because then I would be able to calm down and relax.
I just launched my magic budgeting system.
Ooh, please
I will
let
give
me
it
have
to you.
it.
You need
yes,
it.
please. Please. Because even though you make more money, that doesn't mean you don't need a budget. It means you now need more of a budget. So you can actually like look at where your money's going.
Yeah. But honestly, I like that you're open with your spending, because it is cool. I feel like a lot of people get wealthy and then they become very shy about talking about their finances, and they're not transparent about how much they're spending on hotel rooms. And do you do the private jet thing yet?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I actually own part of a private jet company now.
Oh my gosh, of course you do. How does that happen?
So one of my friends from MIT, he did like aerospace engineering, and I don't know if that's the right term for it, but that's what he studied at MIT. And so he opened up a company where he's trying to do small planes with natural gas and also no pilot. And I'm extremely scared to ever fly in that plane. However, I do think it's probably the way of the world. Like drones don't have to have a pilot. Cars can be autopiloted. So of course, planes one day will be autopiloted. So he needed some investors, and I became an investor. And so now I'm part owner of a private jet, natural gas jet company.
That's wild.
But I will tell you, one of my perks is that I get to fly private, and I still can never like rationalize the price because for the same, like going from Puerto Rico to Florida private is like 20 something $1,000, where you can spend 200 on on a regular plane. So one of the things of the company is that they're getting prices down. I think it's because one of the founders will not use the company unless our prices are lower. So yeah.
But I feel like even with private jets, the people that take private jets, you find a way to justify it. You start thinking, okay, well, each hour of my time is worth $10,000. Therefore, instead of going through TSA for an hour,
so true.
If I have a private jet and I just drive up to the jet, then it's worth it. Like I imagine that's how people are thinking.
Like I trade and it's cheaper to trade in Puerto Rico. I have a big company and it's cheaper for the company in Puerto Rico. But I also really like community and family, and I lost that. So now I've been there 2.5 years. Now I'm starting to feel like, okay, what's the trade-off? I think life might be more important. And maybe this is the question, is life more important than money?
Yes.
And in this case, I think it is.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll make my way back to Dallas because family is so much more important to me.
And I think at this point, like you have all the money you could ever imagine or need. So it's like community, you can't buy it.
Yeah, family's more important. So like I can't get time back in my life. And I think that's the part that's really crucial. Will I be able to get time back to enjoy it even though I was saving money?
Obviously, your path of going from 60,000 to 20 million is not the normal path. Do you think that it was luck? Do you think it was timing? Do you think you happened to build the right audience? What kind of pieces all came into play for that to happen?
Part of it is timing. Some of it was preparation and having put in the work ahead of time. And then I think some of it is skill set.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is that too, just the skill sets lined up as well.
Looking back, what mistakes do you think you made?
Oh, I made so many mistakes. One of them is not having enough due diligence. So this is a business one that I really messed up on. I think I was just way too optimistic and had so much good faith in everyone. I would just take them at their word. And I ran into a lot of bad characters just taking people at their word. So I think about, for example, and I have a foundation. And we partnered with a guy because he said he wanted to build a foster care home and he wanted to build it on this land. So our foundation, being me, bought all this land because I really wanted to help him see his dream come true of the foster care home. But I just took him at his word. Later on, we did due diligence on the land after I had bought it for over $1 million. After I bought the land, we did due diligence, found out the soil is bad, and we can't actually build the foster care home. The city won't even let the foster care home be on it. But that's my fault. I should have done due diligence. So I think I've learned. Now I know that no matter what the deal is, I'm going to do due diligence. I won't accept people just for their word. And then also I won't feel rushed. Because in that moment, I felt like, okay, I got to do it right now or we're going to lose this. And I've learned anytime I feel rushed about a decision, it's not like it probably needs to wait. It's probably not the right decision.
What other mistakes do you think you've made?
Another mistake, and this is more an investing mistake, but I think it also is a life lesson. I didn't get back up fast enough after making a mistake. So for example, in 2022, we had the bear market, and it actually was one of the biggest losses that I had of my career. So I have to always put in perspective because someone is going to say, oh my God, but then they don't understand that my whole portfolio is kind of big. So I lost about 20% when we had the bear market in 2020, which was on par with the bear market. Like there was a drawdown of about 20% in the market. And I had never had that happen to me. So coming into 2023, I'm a little shocked. Like I'm a little hesitant to get back in. But the first quarter of 2023 was one of the best quarters that we've had in technology.
What about relationships? As your income has skyrocketed, has that changed any of the relationships around you?
Yes.
Like, are people asking you for money?
Good question. Who has asked me recently? Let me go through my list. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, the good thing I will say is my family has been one of my rocks, but I think it's because many of them have worked for our company. So not only did I get money, like our whole family has made income. And it really, especially in the beginning, was just if somebody lost their job, they knew they could come to me, and that's the way they would get money. I won't just give you money, but you could work for me. Even if it was my dad, he answers my YouTube messages. Like all the comments, like if you're a guy and you have put, can you get a date with me? It wasn't me answering. It was really my dad.
I love that.
But yeah, like anybody in my family who needed a job, they could come and work for our company. And there was something they could do. One of my other cousins, we had these plaques for the $1,000 a day club. He was our mail runner. He would box them up, take them to the mailbox, and I would pay him, right?
Yeah.
So I think my family was pretty good. And they're all really hard workers. I've really appreciated them. But outside of our family, I do think there were some friends there's even one friend, I like her a lot. And she's told me straight up, she's like, Teri, I had to turn off your Instagram because I was feeling some kind of way looking at your channel all the time, seeing you do this and that. And I was like, girl, I get it.
Like jealousy?
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes you're happy for someone, but you still feel a little behind when you see them doing cool things. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way sometimes when people show their families or their kids or whatnot. It's like, dang, I haven't done that yet. Not that I'm not happy for them, I am, but I also feel like maybe I'm not doing enough. So I think it's that. But you can't really compare if you're not seeing it. So sometimes we just have to like shut it down so we can just really just live our life, stay in our lane, and be good.
It's true. Do you feel like now when you enter into new relationships, whether that's friendship or romantic, you kind of have to question whether they have bad motives, or do you not do that?
I need to do it more because, like I was telling you before, I think I am super optimistic that everybody is good. And my coach lately has told me, like, Teri, that's actually just not true. Some people are evil, even though I would never say those words because I think everybody's great. And I think everybody's like me. Oftentimes, I don't talk about myself because I figure, well, everybody's super smart. Everybody went to MIT. Like, investing's so easy. Like, you could do it. And those things aren't really true. But in my head, I'm like, of course you're spending $10,000 on a hotel room, aren't you? Like, aren't all of us doing that? You're like, no, we're not.
No, I was in a motel like 4 nights ago because it was the cheapest option.
I'm gonna need you to go in and come up a little bit. How about we do like at least 4 stars?
Maybe. I think it was 2 or 3 stars.
Okay, no, we're gonna have
But
to
it was
go
the
at
cheapest.
least. How about this? Not for you, but for your husband. We're gonna start at least 3 stars.
Yeah.
We're gonna help him out today. That's the new rule.
I will admit he's been upset a few times because I'll get the cheapest hotel. And like we arrived at this one 2-star hotel and the sheets were ripped and then there were like 2 foreign hairs on it. I know you would hate it. I know you're a germaphobe.
Oh no. Oh,
but I was like, no, it's fine. Pick it off.
No, I'd literally walk out as soon as I saw that. And then I would ask for my money back as I was going to my new hotel. Like,
really?
Yeah, there was hair in the bed.
Yeah, I just picked it off.
That means I didn't clean the sheets. Again,
I'll come to your $10,000 a day hotel. I'll
right.
experience what that life is like.
And honestly, it's probably not that much better. But it's a lot better though than 2 stars. Let's at least get you to 3.
Okay,
we're gonna get you to 3 stars. Because here's the reason why. Because I feel like I need to explain why I do that. If I'm not in a place where it's nice, then I won't feel relaxed. And if I need to go into any kind of setting where I need to be on or able to speak or present, I need to be my best self. And the space sets the tempo for that. If my environment is bad, then I'm not going to show up well anywhere else.
That's fair.
So that's like the one, like I don't have to have designer clothes. I don't have to have like great shoes or jewelry, but where I stay really needs to set the tone for me.
No, I think everyone has that with money, no matter how much you have. It's like you kind of know what your money really matters for, and then you don't compromise on those things unless you're in a lot of debt like I was, and then you kind of compromise on everything. But once you're out of debt, I think figuring out what matters to you, prioritize that, and then everything else, don't splurge.
And I also think that sometimes as a trader, we feel like we need to have a bigger balance. And that's also that's a myth. It's definitely a myth. Like I would rather someone start with a very small account, trade little bit at a time, even if it's like, okay, I'm going to trade $2,000 and my goal is to make $20 on a regular basis. That's better than having this big $100,000 account. We assume that because we have more money, we'll make more money, but we actually often lose it because we don't know how to manage our mental state. It's better to start small because you can manage a smaller loss and get bigger than to start big.
For your business, did you ever approach it like, did you set monetary goals for each year? Because I can't imagine in 2020 when you made the $20 million in a year that you had possibly set that as a goal.
I didn't. At that time, I did know I wanted to make $1 million a month. So it was like, okay, if I can make $1 million a month, then how about 12 million be the goal? And then the next year I wanted to increase it, but we blew the 12 million out of the park and it was 20 million. So then the next year it was like, well, let's see if we can maintain or stay close to that. Yeah.
Do you still goal set the same way, or do you think about goal setting differently now?
I still goal set the same way, but for me, it also is around impact of number of students. So for a little while it was, can I serve 1,000 students a month? If I serve 1,000 students a month, I know I'll hit 2 million a month, something like that. You know, now it's, okay, I actually want to scale down because I really want more freedom in my life, and businesses are hard to run sometimes. So now it's like, okay, I really want to serve maybe 100 people a month. Like, how can I do that in an efficient way where they are served well and I'm served well? So really now it's more about the number of people I serve.
Do you have monetary goals of like, I want to have $100 million net worth or $200 million net worth?
Yes. So I know that I'm going to be a billionaire. To me, it just will happen. Now, how much time it takes me to get there, that's going to be up to kind of me and God. And more so God than me. Recently, I had this fun realization that God knew this version of me, like the $50 million me, back when I was crying at 60,000 because they wouldn't give me a raise. Like I remember being in ministry and actually working at the school too and asking for raises and the bosses shutting me down or asking for a day off and they wouldn't let me have it. And so it's amazing to think like, but there was a world where this girl was that's like not thinking about a boss giving her a day off, not even worried about like I think my raise then I wanted like $2,000 raise. Like there's this version. So there is a version of me that's the $100 million me and the $1 billion me looking at me now like, oh, I remember when you were at 50 million or 60 million, like, or whatever it is. So I'm excited to meet her.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to meet her.
I think that's cool. I like the confidence with which you say, I will be a billionaire. I feel like a year or two ago I said that, and now I've kind of scaled back a little. I
Why?
don't know. I think for sure I'll have $100 million net worth. I think I see a clear path there, but a billion requires probably more work than I'm willing to give and sacrifice. Because I think about family too, and how I really want to spend time with my parents. And I remember when the decision came to really create this new life where I didn't have to rely on a boss, one of the deciding factors was this conversation with this friend. And he said, if you continue in your traditional corporate life, you can predict that probably 1 week a year you'll get off, you'll go see your parents, you'll have 7 dinners with them. And if you look at the average life expectancy, you multiply 7 dinners per year by the number of years that they have left to live, and you know exactly how many dinners left you have with your family. And that was just like, that struck me in a way that I cannot describe. And that was when I decided, look, I am here because I want to control the way I spend time with people. I want to be able to say, hey, I'm going to go see my family. My dad's sick. I'm going to go see him. And with a boss, I felt like I would never be able to have that freedom. So that was really important to me. So going back to the billionaire thing, I think maybe the sacrifices that would be required to become a billionaire are too great for me. It's not worth it.
Wow. I have never heard the idea of 7 dinners with your family per year. That's hitting me right now too. Like even with thinking about where I want to live and trying to be closer to community. You're so right.
Right? Because think back to when you were working for people, you really have 1, maybe 2 weeks off a year, and you're probably not spending that whole time with your family. You're probably spending seven nights.
Half of it you're trying to catch up on sleep.
Yeah.
So half of it you're like sleeping and you really don't feel like talking to anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
And then those few dinners that you're having, you're so cranky because you've been overworked that you're not even having good conversations and they're probably not even enjoying it.
Yeah.
Wow. The one reason why I think that I can become a billionaire is because I've lately seen more people that look like me becoming billionaires. So like I think of Rihanna and LeBron and even he's a comedian.
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's a billionaire yet, but I know he's going to be a billionaire. So because I've seen them like achieve it, for some reason to me it feels more palpable. Like I got this. Like it's coming. I got it. Like, and maybe I might not make it, but even just the belief that I can, I think is going to get me so much closer to it.
Yeah. And I think the same way that those people doing it are inspiring you, I feel like I'm so excited for this podcast episode to launch because so many people are going to see you, Teri, and be like, wow, if Teri could do it, maybe I can too.
Amen for that.
Yeah. If someone wants to start investing, what do you think should be their first step?
I think that they should really figure out what type of investor they are. Because you could be an investor by just saving and putting something in a high yield savings account. You're still investing. Or maybe if you're a steady investor, that's when you're thinking about like, okay, I'm going to put something in an index fund and just let it ride. Or maybe if you want more income, like me, or you want to be more active with it, you're a more active investor. We actually have a quiz on tradeandtravel.com.
Ooh.
They can go there and figure out what kind of investor they are.
So we have a closing tradition. The podcast is called Erica Taught Me, but really today is all about Teri Taught Me. So what do you want people to walk away saying, Teri taught me this?
I would say Teri taught me that you could still become a millionaire even if you make mistakes. Like, mistakes do not stop you from becoming an amazing person. You can flourish after making mistakes because you just learn and get better every time.
I love that. Thank you so much, Teri.
Thank you. This has been great.
If you've enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to leave a review. It really helps support what we're doing. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next Tuesday on a brand new episode of Erica Taught Me.